doing a Princess Peach review. Right, review time. Getting into it.
Yeah.
Dude, to start with, right, before I even get properly into any sort of detailed discussion, because you know how I am, I like to be intricate and it can be a bit boring. So before I get into the waffle, this game to me feels like the perfect sort of love letter to a Princess Peach fan. That's genuinely what I feel like the target audience and demographic is. Have you ever experienced a piece of media that feels like it's sort of made for you?
Yeah, it's kind of like fan service, but in a very good way. It's sort of like a very good take on fan service.
Yes. This is exactly it. It happens quite a lot with like anime or specific video games, right?
For sure, yeah.
I feel like Princess Peach Showtime, with her being potentially my favourite character in anything ever, spoilers by the way, if you are a fan of the character, even slightly, you will love this game. I'm not going to sit here and gush for an hour, don't worry, but this game was made for the people that love the character and want to have the character have the spotlight, quite simply. Essentially what this game is, in case you don't know, it's a 2.5D, maybe 3D platformer, as well as like many other genres. It's sort of like a conglomerate of different genres combined into one. So it's not just going to be a platformer. It's also going to have like fight scenes and combat in it. It's also going to have like puzzles. It's got a bit of Cooking Mama in there. If you guys like some Cooking Mama, it's a little bit like that.
Yeah.
It's there's all sorts of gameplay styles in there. There's QTEs, so if you guys like quick time events, you know the memes right now that's blowing up, it's sort of like that, if in a funny way. It's got like rail shooter mechanics, dude. It's so all over the place, but it's not too much. Each one you kind of expect with a different outfit.
That's really cool. It's that's very reminiscent of, well, not even, I mean, Wario. It was WarioWare Touch, was it? Where you get the different outfits where you dress up and it unlocks different mechanics and everything, puzzles and that kind of thing. But it sounds a lot more in depth than that.
Yes, it's a good way of putting it. Apart from rather than it being mini games, you've got whole mini stories. So there are 10 different outfits in the game. I'm pretty sure. Well, spoilers. There are 10 different outfits in the game, and each of these will reveal like a type of gameplay. Obviously, her aesthetic will entirely change, and the actual world's music and everything will be formed around this particular outfit / stage presentation. And this is where we would have been like really invested into sort of ranking things individually. But I think the other way we could do it and approach this instead is, as I described them, maybe pick like your 3 favourites if you're cool with doing something like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah.
That could be something that's pretty cool to do. So listing them off of the fly, like you're going to be testing me a little bit here. So we have Princess Peach and her regular outfit. We have the Mermaid Peach outfit. We have the Ice Skater Peach outfit. Ninja Peach, Cowgirl Peach, Sword Fighter, Kung Fu, Detective. Right, I never know how to say this. Patissiere. Forgive me if I butchered that. Yeah. Mighty Peach and Dashing Thief. If you need me to go through them one more time, I can do, because there is quite a lot there. But did any, like, just by title, be like, oh, that one could be pretty cool?
I think that the 3 that I would kind of go for, it's got to be Dashing Thief 1, because I've seen that one. I've seen some gameplay with it, and it looks really fun. So I kind of know sort of what goes with that one. Second, it's got to be that Sword Fighter. I think it is. Is it when she goes and gets the green kind of samurai outfit?
I won't. Okay, yes, I will roll with it for now. So Sword Fighter. I won't say anything yet.
Oh, unless that's the Cavalier one. That could be the Cavalier one, actually. Ooh.
I'll let you theorise for now. I like that.
I'd say that might be the Cavalier one then, yeah, actually. So I'd probably say Kung Fu Peach.
Yeah,
You've got Ninja there as well. And you've got the Cowgirl as well.
See, there are quite a few, and it's tough to choose, right? It's tough to choose. As I like reveal sort of gameplay things later into the stream, we'll knuckle down on those. But I am curious to see if they hold up, of course.
Yeah.
So essentially, this game starts out. I feel like it would be good to sort of get with the intro, because there's not much to do in terms of story. So I feel like it's a good place to approach it from. It starts off Princess Peach, of course, with her traditional outfit, as you guys would have seen. Only with one major difference when she does arrive eventually at the show, as you can see now. It is without her traditional crown. Instead, it's been replaced with our other heroine named Stella. This is the name of the little ribbon you can see alongside her. Stella is definitely... She plays like a protagonist alongside Peach and does a lot more of like the text and talking side of things. But she definitely doesn't take away from the spotlight in like a really good way. Sort of like a narrator, but has her own part. It is pretty cool. I do quite like her. Stella's a ribbon that Peach will use. So you would have seen the animations at some point if you've seen like the adverts or if you've seen any combat footage or anything like that. When she's in a traditional outfit, Stella will be the weapon. If I can call her a weapon, I'll do it with like abbreviated brackets. Weapon of the game. She has 2 different attacks when using her. She can like swirl around herself. It's quite cute. She would like do like really sort of ballet-esque dancing. And then the other one, pirouette. That's the word. Is it? Is pirouette the word?
Yeah.
I think so. I may have butchered that. I do apologise. And then she has another like single enemy-based attack, which has like a much better range. Apparently, Stella looks a bit like Lisa Simpson. I kind of see it actually. The haircut. I actually do kind of see it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Chat hit us with that, and I was like, you know what, this kind of makes sense. It's got this. I think it's the trim.
It's definitely the trim, yeah.
It's a very similar sort of head shape because of that, right?
That's good.
She loses her crown. I forgot to give a bit of context to that because of the initial cutscene when she's trapped inside the theatre itself, and upon being trapped in the theatre by a unknown boss, which is later revealed to be Madame Grape. The crown and all of the toads that travelled with her to keep her safe were blown out of this theatre, and it is magically sealed. The only way for Peach to unlock this theatre is to go into the productions and dispel the actual like evil entities within them, the bosses. It's a very sort of simple plot narrative. It's another Mario plot is the way to put it. Not in a bad way though. It's very simple and easy to sort of get invested into almost instantly.
Yeah.
And to be honest, other than that, like to the game's credit, it just remains relatively simple. There is not much more to add other than you'll make your way through levels with different outfits, dispelling the evil and the bosses within each particular type of theme. So like the sword fighter Peach level will have an enemy based around sword fighting, for example. There was a water-based boss for the mermaid level, so on and so forth. Very simple, but sort of good iconography, sticking within the theme, that sort of stuff.
Nice.
I know you played New Super Mario Bros., so a good point of comparison could be that, really. You know how the worlds have like very thematical bosses in that game, to its credit. Unlike all the other New Super Mario Bros., I think the one on DS was very good for theming its bosses. This game does that, but not to a greater extent, but really hones in on the theme even more.
Okay, yeah, and you got the kind of mechanics to combat that boss are only going to be useful for that. Well, not only going to be useful for that boss, but it's kind of made for that boss kind of thing.
No, yeah, that's exactly the way of putting it. For example, with Patissiere Peach, it is a cooking mama-esque boss where you've got to bake more cakes and cookies faster than your opponent. And if you fail, and it is quite tough in parts, if you fail to get the correct decoration, because the cakes are moving on like a rotating plate, you got to place the icing right, and if you get it wrong, the cookies or the cake won't count towards yours. Whereas they're making like 3 at a time, you've got to be rapid. Yeah, it is pretty cool. But then you compare that to, say, what's another one I could give off the top of my head? The Sword Fighter boss. It's like a giant sort of piranha plant made out of cardboard to suit with the theme of the actual show. And you've got to like QTE your way through it and counter almost like nowhere near as hard, of course. But you know how you would counter in like a Dark Souls boss? You got to roll or jump in this instance over the attacks, then counter perfectly to even get to damage you. That sort of thing.
Gosh. Okay, this sounds really interesting.
Yeah, like the gameplay is pretty good, and I feel like it's impossible to talk about this game's narrative without its gameplay, because each outfit and stage is its own mini narrative with 3 segments. So there's not just one sword fighter level. There's one on the 1st floor, then I believe there's another one on the 4th and the 5th floor of the actual theatre itself. So you'll explore and get invested more into this story the further up you go.
Nice. Yeah.
It is pretty cool, and as it all combines, you're like, wow, you're getting one overarching narrative where you're gradually taking down Madame Grape, and it is quite cool.
It sounds quite wholesome, to be fair.
Yeah, it is.
Well, a lot of Mario is, I mean, it's, it does sound particularly quite wholesome for a Mario kind of esque game.
Yeah, I completely agree. And chat's asked, where is Mario when this is all taking place? We actually don't get a single reference to Mario. Like, the whole time I was sit there like, where's Mario? Where's Mario? I know there's going to be some kind of mini reference, but I must admit, I was actually really happy they didn't do it. Like, I was really wanting them to not bring any other main Mario character apart from maybe Toad. And that's exactly what we got. Spoilers, by the way. I am sorry, I should have gave a spoiler warning, but it's not for the game itself, so it's fine. But yeah, I was so happy when we didn't get another Mario character, because again, it kind of links back to that title of Princess Peach Showtime. I was like, they did it. They fully gave her the spotlight with her own narrative. It made me happy.
Yeah, that's good. It would kind of be, it takes away from it sometimes. It's nice to have other characters to play, like in say like New Super Mario Bros. Wii or Super Mario Bros. Wii, what it was called, where you got like the Yoshis and everything, and even the DS one where you get Luigi by that LR thing. It can take away from it if you have too much choice. Plus, if it's her own game, you want it to be her own game.
Yeah, this is exactly it, dude. And as chat said, it was very much her time to shine, and I was really grateful. I was genuinely, I felt sort of grateful that they did that, because another good point of comparison is when Luigi got his title, right, in Luigi's Mansion. I love that game. I'm not going to say a bad word. I think that game's fantastic. But it did still feel like he was the second brother, even in his own game. You know how the whole premise was searching for Mario, and that he was scared and almost playing like a wimp role. And obviously he overcame his fear, and that was great and very good sort of character writing. But they couldn't escape from Mario being the hero in a way. Like, he needed to save Mario so that it would all be okay, right? And to me, I'm glad they didn't do that. I was very, very happy.
That's it. I think it's kind of the better way to do it with Peach, I think, than Luigi, because Luigi's archetype is very sort of, he comes across as like this wimpy little guy who then will rise to the challenge, but he always starts at that single point of like, he's a bit sort of cowardly. So with her, she's always been fairly courageous, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a good way.
So it makes sense for her to just have her own focus.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, dude. Completely agree with you. And then chat's made another good point as well, saying that it was her time to shine, and it sort of proves that she is more than just filling in the damsel of distress role that she has in the past. Like,
absolutely, yeah.
Obviously, when certain situations occur and it's a sudden attack from Bowser, she's always been known as the sort of the thing to save and rescue in many Mario games, and that's cool. Like, there's not a problem with that. But having like a moment to be like, nah, we do have this power behind the character, and the character is much more. Yeah, it was a cool exploration. I was genuinely happy they didn't bring in anyone else, to be honest.
Yeah, you know what? It's in a franchise that's been going as long as it has. They kind of needed this and like other things like it, because it gets just really stale, and it's just like, okay, well, you're just rescuing the damsel in distress. She can't really do anything for herself. You are the main hero as Mario. Whereas when you built the universe like they have, it's like you've got to expand these characters, give them things of their own.
Yeah, I completely agree, dude. And in fact, I think this is... we're not going to be reviewing this game, I don't think, but Mario also got a game this year in Mario vs. Donkey Kong. And personally, I think that this game was a much stronger experience. This is just my own opinion. Much stronger experience than Mario vs. Donkey Kong was. I loved both, enjoyed both, and there's definitely fun to be had there. But I walked away thinking, wow, this is probably Nintendo's best release for a little while.
Nice.
I wouldn't say it's to the scale of, for most people, obviously for me individually, we'll get to that, but for most people, it's nowhere near the scale of their best, and not at all. But it definitely is probably within like their top 15 to 10 Nintendo platformers, and that's quite a scale on there, I think. Like, there's some good games, not exclusives, on exclusives it might even be higher, but I do think it's got a lot to offer if you enjoy platforming, because that's probably the main genre.
Okay. Nice.
I mean, this is a good point to build on as well. As chat has said as well, it shows how society's views on video game characters have actually expanded massively as well. Like, this Princess Peach has not really had many time to shine individually outside of the main Mario cast, right? And that can be expanded in general to the fact that now, look at Mario Bros. Wonder, we were able to play Peach and Daisy. Mario Kart roster's majorly improved. Like, there's so many additions now that, it's probably a really good representation as well. I'm definitely not the most qualified to talk about it, but I think it's cool that it's here.
Yeah, absolutely. That was about to be my point, really. It was, I mean, in an age where, you know, back in when gaming first started, really, it was sort of like a boys' thing to do and everything like that. But, you know, it's expanded to be inclusive for everyone. So why not include characters for everyone? That's absolutely fair, and everyone should get their own kind of person to resonate with.
100%, mate. 100%. Could not agree more. And I think the fact it exists is just, amazing. Very, very grateful, because, I mean, we've had 2 games for this character since the existence, which has been, it's a difficult one to exactly pinpoint, but let's say early 90s. So, it's great. Got very sidetracked there, but in, like, a good way. Back to the narrative. We're going to go to the final act. So, spoilers, again. I'm not going to give direct spoilers, but... still, spoiler warning in case I say something. The final act, dude, had me fangirling so hard I just couldn't stop smiling. Have you ever just watched or played something and the whole time you've got the cheesiest, like even talking about it now, had the cheesiest grin and smile on my face?
Yeah, I like that. That's always fun. I mean, it's as I say, a nice bit of fan service is like, it's great in some aspects, but then you can feel a bit sort of like, well, yeah, it's just fan service. When it goes above and beyond, though, and it's sort of like, it's fan service and it's good. It's just good anyway. It will leave you like, that's really good.
It's the exact bracket it was in. I was in the, you know that feeling you get when you visit like a toy shop as a child and you're just like, go get something or have a look around. That sort of like buzz you get and the sort of adrenaline boost. That's how excited I was. Like when my family would offer to buy me a packet of Pokemon cards, I could compare it to that. I was so excited because they were so expensive, never really got any as a child. So that feeling, I had it the whole time. It's like quite a rare one to get in adulthood, but it was really just sort of, it was a nostalgic feeling, even though it's something brand new. It's really hard to depict, but that is where I stood with it.
That's great.
Yeah, it was great. And to be honest, mate, that is our narrative without spoilers. So if I go into spoilers, be warned, guys, I'll give you like 5 seconds. We're going into spoilers. That's probably not 5 seconds, but there we are. The final fight, right? You unlock a final outfit. This final outfit is almost like, it depicts Peach in such a way where I've got to be careful in how I word this, not to just gush, but to sort of be objective. Almost like in an angelic way. That's a word, right? Angelic? I think that's the word.
Okay,
So she seems to get some kind of magical power from this particular outfit. And it's like flowing, it's very white, it's very looks very clean, crisp, a very long outfit as well. And as she's wearing it, she begins to like levitate in the air and sort of gains some kind of superpower. I won't spoil the superpower just yet, but she's able to like, the things she can cast and the things she can do, suddenly the character becomes very, very powerful. I was sat there like, this is some Dragon Ball Z shit, dude. Like, what's going on? Like,
she's trying to become like a hybrid with, like, say, Princess Zelda.
Yeah, that is such a good comparison, actually. You know how like the white represents a lot of like sort of power, purity within Zelda, and like the sort of the angelic character. That's what it felt like, and she had very similar powers as well. It's a good way to put it, actually. I hadn't thought of that. It was so cool. So cool, dude. The boss fight was like a 3D camera behind her, and you'd shoot like sort of magical balls of energy. I don't know what to call them, so I'll call them magical balls of energy at this boss in the center screen, rotating around it as she cast all sorts back at you. You had to absorb, counter, dash, dodge, and the theatre itself was ripped down. She becomes giant in the second phase of the fight, and suddenly you're in this God of War-esque fight. Like, genuinely, you're tiny, but with all these powers, and you've got this giant boss using all of their sort of godlike powers on you, and you're like, well, I've just finished God of War, completely different game, but here I am. This feels like a God of War fight. It feels like I'm fighting Kronos all over again. Like, dude, it was so cool. It was genuinely insane. I don't want to go too much into that in case this review convinces anyone to play it, but that last act nailed that the game was really good for me. I couldn't decide whether it was me loving the character and it was just, you know, sort of gushing and the game was good, or if it was objectively a really good game. But in terms of its narrative, that lent me onto the side of, this is probably one of the best Mario platformer plots, because there's not many good ones out there.
I mean, at the start when it first came out and everything, and like there's been a few since, but it gets quite old, doesn't it? So it's very easy to just rehash something, and it's the same but slightly different. But the narrative is largely the same. It's sort of like, well, yeah, it functions, but it's not that interesting.
Yeah, like I completely agree, dude. I've put here in big bold letters as well as I'm like referencing things that there is an abundance, right? Check me out with these big points and big words, guys. But there's an abundance of ludonarrative consistency. In case we don't know what that means, don't worry. I had to look it up and make sure I'm not talking rubbish, so don't feel bad. But essentially, the gameplay segments tell your story. You are shown your story and not told within this game, and I think that works perfectly. Because a lot of the time, and I think Mario's always done that, to be fair, but it's because it's very, as you've said, surface level. Whereas here, there is actually a narrative, and at first you see Peach is very terrified, very scared. She doesn't know what's going on. She was just invited to this theatre to watch a production, and suddenly all this has just been flung upon her. But then by the end, you can tell that she feels very accomplished to have conquered the tower, but rather than taking the time to sort of appreciate the feats and what she's been through, she gets to this boss and she's just ready for a fight. Just so ready. Nice. And you feel that yourself. You know, you've gone through all of these levels. Especially myself, who was trying to 100% it, you've gone through every little part to find every little thing. You've had an absolute blast doing it, but you get to the fight and you really... You forget about it all. You don't care about that now. You're like, whoa, it's this one last fight. The music's bumping. I feel good. You know, you want to hear Undefeatable, but this game's version of it. No spoilers, but it's great. Yeah, it is. It is so good. Really, really
nice.
Strong.
Good.
I think then the next point to go on to would be the collectibles and like what we need to get. Yeah, that's a good comparison actually. The chat said the one we've got on screen right now, the Ninja Peach, is very much like Sheik, and it's a good point. You've made me sort of had a thought process here. There's a lot of like pop culture references. I feel like that's what a lot of the outfits do, like intentionally as well. Yeah. It's a nod to other sort of games where the character is really cool. So yeah, Sheik here is a good comparison. Or sort of, I thought Naruto originally. It gives me strong Naruto vibes.
So he's like Isekai, definitely.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Nice.
I also thought that which one was it? The Mermaid Peach was definitely a reference to the Little Mermaid, because she would control the fish within the stage, right? Move them around by using her voice, the power of singing, as mermaids do, sticking true to the lore there.
Nice.
And you'd use these fish within the background with one analog stick, and then in the foreground you move her so you don't like get attacked by the enemies in the foreground, and it was quite complex sort of gameplay, and it was really, really cool. And again, they are all sort of pop culture references within their own right. I feel like Mighty Peach is Mega Man. You know, she's in the sort of futuristic outfit. It's hard platforming. You have to like punch through enemies. It's pretty cool. If you enjoy these games, there's something there for everyone, I feel like.
Very nice.
I know the Cooking Mama one in internet discourse is very popular, the Patissiere Peach.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess...
Even with that, it looks like he's very much like Three Musketeers. It's like a cavalier type person with a big sword. Yeah.
No, I think it's a good way of putting it. I was going to say, I'm going to guess that it's popular, the Patissiere one, because of the thematic sense it makes with Peach. Because obviously she's been known to be a baker throughout other games. You know, in Mario 64, the big sort of dialogue at the beginning where it's like, "Dear Mario, I baked you a cake," something like that. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
It's something along them lines. So she's known to be a baker, so that might have something to do with it. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But yes, we're going to talk about the collectibles. Have you ever played a collectathon, or do you know much about collectathons in general in platforming?
Not too much really. No, I've never really. I've done it for a few games where I've collected everything. But I mean, there's not really too many, to be honest.
No, that's all
I
right.
usually just play through them, and I'm like, I want to do it. I want to collect everything, and then I get to it, I'm like, no.
It can definitely be painful. Don't worry. It can be painful to do it in some games. I think that this game though, it is really fun to do. Right? Hear me out. Before everyone's like, oh, here we go again. That I can explain. So. The collectibles within this game, there are three main ones really, and a collectathon, by the way, just so in case you don't know, a collectathon is basically a 3D platformer that has a bunch of different collectibles in it. So you don't just have you have your main one that will sort of progress the story, but then you've got other ones that might unlock those. There's things that will unlock alternative things, bonus things for like a map. You know, it's just a bunch of things to collect in a certain area. That's probably the way to put it.
Yeah.
This game is definitely one of those, sort of like a Jak and Daxter, Banjo-Kazooie, if you know those sorts of games.
Yeah.
It's within that same bracket. The main objective for this game, though, I know you're going to like this one, dude, is a sparkle.
Yeah.
Now, the sparkle, to me, screams Shine Sprites from Mario Sunshine. Like, the aura they give off, it's so, like, it's got that majestic sort of royalty to it, almost.
Yeah.
And yeah, the aesthetic it's great. It's perfectly thematic, and I think they are perfect for the progression-based item. They also are the same shape as Stella. I only just realised this in watching and talking about Lisa Simpson. I can't believe Lisa Simpson got me here. But yeah, they are the same shape as Stella, but like light blue. So the other colour of her ribbons, which at the start of the game, which is pretty cool.
Oh, okay, nice.
You collect those, and you only need a few to get through the game. So if you want to beat this game in 3-4 hours, you can. You only need like a couple, sort of like Little Big Planet. You just need to beat the level, really, and you can keep progressing. Or you can go and get everything, and if you get everything, you get to unlock. Here we go. I'm excited to talk about this. You can tell. You get a new dress for every level you beat and get everything on it. You get a new dress outfit, as you can see on screen now. I'll talk about that. Okay. And then if you get the second collectible, which is a ribbon within the level, you can actually unlock a whole new Stella outfit as well. So you can change the colour of her and how she looks. And then when you do your attacks, the colours you pick will create different sort of styles on the attack as well, and different aesthetics. I was like, they didn't need to put that much effort in, but wow, it's so worth it. So worth it.
Yeah. Really nice that they thought that through and just kind of not just put it as a collectible, but something that changes the actual aesthetic of the game.
Yeah, entirely, mate. Yeah. It made me want to go out of my way and collect them all, because I'm like, well, what if there's one I like more? I found myself every level, I purposely went out of my way to try different combos and different outfits. I was like, well, I want to see what things look like. I want to make this work. And they knew people would enjoy it, because they added like a photo gallery mode where you can make her do different poses, put on different outfits, try everything on, and just do like really cool combos. I know I'm gushing, but I knew it was going to happen at some point. It was great though, man. I had great fun.
That's good. It's good service. It's good. Like as much as like, I keep saying fan service, and people seem to think that's a bad thing, but it's not. It's really not. When you've only got like a couple of pieces of media dedicated to one character that you love, it's lovely to have that option of just being able to go and do like just random stuff, like photo gallery, like changing the outfits, even if it doesn't sort of give any new powers or anything. It's just nice to change the aesthetic.
For sure, the amount of time you can spend there is crazy, right?
Yeah, I felt the same a lot with when it came to like from Pokemon X onwards, where you could actually change what your trainer looked like. Yes, I'm like, I'm getting it. It's just it adds a little bit to it.
No, completely true. Like I don't know if I should be admitting how much time I spent changing my Pokemon trainer in specifically for me, Sword and Shield. I spent so much time in Sword and Shield changing my aesthetic. Like it's fun to do.
It's just purely for typing as well. I used to like change my hair colour, change like my glasses, change the top, trousers, shoe, bag. It's fun to do. It's fun to do.
Exactly, and Nintendo do it well, I think. And this game, it was really, really good for that. So I was grateful again that it was added. I booted up the game, and instantly, as soon as I saw the photo gallery, I spent like a few minutes in there. I was like, let's see what we could do. And this is before I unlocked everything as well, just messing around like the poses and oh, dude, it was great. It was genuinely awesome. I think next, the best thing to talk about will be my opinion on how fun I found the levels, the different type of levels. I feel like this is quite an important thing to do. Do you want me to go top to bottom or bottom to top?
Ooh. Unless chat has a preference, then I don't mind. So it's up to you.
I might aim for suspense, right, and do bottom to top? Chat said bottom to top as well.
Nice.
So I'm thinking that kind of works. Have you got any guesses Oh, I'm gonna feel harsh doing this because none. Okay, before I do this, I enjoy and love every single one of them. So take this with a grain of salt. There's not one that I disliked. Every single one I had fun.
Yeah.
Do you have a guess of what was my least favourite?
Your least favourite?
Yes.
I'm gonna say,
It's one we've spoken about a little bit to give you a clue.
see, I'm thinking the mermaid. I'm not sure.
Is that what we're rolling with?
I'll go for the mermaid. Yeah.
Well done. I did actually put the mermaid at the bottom. Now, water levels are notorious in video games, right? There are some good ones. I will Docks, for example, or Aquatic Ruin in Jak and Daxter. They exist, good water levels. But unfortunately, in this game, it is the weakest. The movement completely changes, and not in a good way. It's slightly slower. The pacing of them is really weird. Like, the first level genuinely took me about 30 to 40 minutes. I was like, what on earth's going on? But the two after that were probably about 10 to 15. And like I said, it's kind of weird to control. Like, it is cool and unique, but controlling Peach with the left thumbstick and then the fish with the right, if you had a problem on both screens, yeah, it was cool. But I found myself being like, it's not nice to control in a way. And then the actual gameplay pacing was very slow. You know, like getting the fish to move around by singing, and the actual enemies not offering much threat. It was it felt a little slow and a little, I guess a little indolent is the way to put it.
Yeah, like kind of more an exploration kind of theme as opposed to an actual sort of impact level.
You know, you'd use the fish in the background to go search through seaweed or an enemy, or you'd open up sort of clams and see if there's anything in there, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, though, the soundtrack was great for the mermaid levels, because at the end of each one, you had like a rhythm-based game like Guitar Hero, where different coloured fish would come toward you, and you'd have buttons that you'd need to press according to the Switch controller and time it well. And you'd only get all the sparkles in the level if you timed it perfectly and got the song on tune, which I was like, yo, I love Guitar Hero. I like playing instruments. This is fun. But that was only at the very end of each level of the mermaid ones. So it did give it a hype sort of ending. But I'd say otherwise probably the weakest. But the rhythm game definitely topped it off in like a good way.
That is nice. That's a bit different. At least that's one. I feel the same, to be honest. I'm not a big lover of water levels anyway. And just the aesthetic even of it. But I mean, I think all the designs are great, but I still think that the mermaid's probably the weakest.
Yes, it's well, we'll get to aesthetic, because that's a whole thing that I will I'll talk about at some point, because I know I could get lost in the details there. Next is, unless you want to continue guess, do you think you want to keep guessing, or should I just go for it, do you think?
I'll guess this one, but then go for it.
Alright, so hit me with it.
I think the next one, I think it'll be I think you can't sort fire actually. It's difficult.
I'll give you another clue. We have spoken about it already as well.
Oh really? I was going to say Ice Skater.
Ice Skater, I won't reveal, but is a little bit higher. Maybe not much, but a little bit higher. Right, this one is going to be my most controversial take on the game, because I know internet discourse loves it, but for me it's Patisserie Peach. Right, I do enjoy Cooking Mama, and I enjoy cooking games. And on your first playthrough, if you're not 100%ing it, it's probably one of the best. The problem was on replay, when you're trying to collect everything, find everything, and make the cakes perfectly, playing through the level again and again and again, I was like, the cake making's kind of losing the spark a little bit. It wasn't like a platforming level where it's fun to get good at it and run through it. Like, for example, these are a bit high, like the ninja or the kung fu, or you're not fighting enemies and getting better at it. Instead, it's the same paced cake making segment, or the same cookie production. It doesn't actually change each time. It is the same scene, which is understandable considering how much they actually put into the game. But because it's not as fun as taking on hordes of enemies or platforming, I did feel like if I missed one sparkle and I wanted the dress or the ribbon for the level, I was like, oh please, I'd have to do it all again perfectly as well. Like I'd have to do it perfectly again just to get that collectible, and that kind of made me, I left a tiny bit of a sour taste. See what I did there?
Yeah, I get it. It's probably going to be different for everyone as well. You know, people, you've played a lot of action games and everything, I suppose, and like, I suppose there's other people who have played a lot of what's cooking, other things like that. So there's going to be stuff that people find their strong suit and everything.
Yeah, this is
so
exactly
it's good that they actually put that in. Yeah.
And chat said the actual like icing on the cake is quite intricate, as you can probably tell on the screen. By the way, may I just point out how well themed, because obviously I've got this footage from YouTube, credit to the channel there, how well themed this has sort of like gone. That's not intentional, by the way, it's just worked out really well. That makes me happy. Anyway, yeah, the patisserie was really cool. Next is, right, again, this feels really harsh because now I've kind of moved bracket from the ones that I was like, oh, I don't want to replay them, into the ones where they're just fun now. Like I've not really got complaints. I'd say Dashing Thief. Now, hear me out. There is nothing actively wrong with them. Like I've not got criticism. Their levels are super fun. They offer fun platforming segments. There's relatively intense scenes to keep the player engaged. Like I put here in big bold letters. In all honesty, I love the levels. I just feel like some of the others are stronger. This is the one I've got the least. I've not really got a strong opinion either way.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, for the reason that I picked it really is just because I've got the history with in WarioWare Touched. You get to play as Thief Warrior.
Yes.
So I think I'd enjoy that as a callback more than anything else. So that's probably what's a bit higher.
It's very similar. You know, if you enjoyed that, you'll genuinely love Dashing Thief.
Nice. Yeah.
Next, I went for Sword Fighter.
Okay.
The Sword Fighter, the only thing that stopped it going higher, and again, it's not really a criticism because it works perfectly what it's trying to do, but it is an introduction to the game. So, it's the tutorial level, and the tutorial level is never the best level to replay. You know, it's a damn good tutorial as well, it's perfect, but it is a tutorial level. It's very slow. It teaches you the mechanics. So if you miss something, playing through it again wasn't great. The platforming's very basic. The combat's a bit easy. The sparkles, you don't really have to look very hard. You know, it just suffers from being the first level.
That's fair enough. Yeah. It's going to have to be one of them that will take on that mantle of being the first level, and it's just like just kind of entry. Well, that's fair.
Yeah, that's exactly it. No problem, Tom Bear. Take it easy, dude. Pleasure as always. Kung Fu Peach. Kung Fu Peach was the next one for me, and I put we're entering now the top tier levels. So we've done the other brackets are really small. Every other level, I'm like, these are all top tier. So it's hard to really differentiate majorly between them.
Nice.
I would say Kung Fu was great. It was combat oriented, as you can imagine, and very much our QTE levels. So it would be like hit X, Y, B, and this will do a combo. But you had to time it as you'd be fighting like a Shaolin monk-esque kind of figure. Very much.
Nice.
The pop culture was like Mulan. It was a tale of you find your outfit, you find yourself, you join the combatants, but then rather than hiding your identity, you flourish it. So it was like a subversion there. I was like, that's damn cool.
Yeah.
It shows again sort of that discussion we had earlier about the roles and how society's changed. It's kind of similar to that, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Next, I went for Ice Skater.
Oh yeah.
Ice Skater was the one that pissed me off the most.
Okay.
I loved it, but it's the only time I got annoyed was when I missed like specific jumps in Ice Skater, because you have to do tricks to get like the maximum amount of points to get sparkles. So if you didn't do it well enough, or you mistimed it, or it wasn't perfect when you're skating around doing the pirouettes, doing like really cool laybacks. Forgive me, I don't know too much about ice skating, but if you missed one, it was so painful. But loved the level.
You know what? It's even in like I don't want to say kid childy, like child-oriented games, but like I mean, you have the same in when I recently played Ultra Sun, when you've got like wave things to get between the first and second island.
Yes,
you've got to hit the combo. I hate this. It's so annoying when you miss one. But then it's like I I do love it as well. If I was good at it, then I'd love it, but I just wasn't very good at it. I was like, I hate this.
I could completely understand. I was the same, and I played this game when I was chilling and relaxing. It wasn't like my intense game, it was a chilling game. So when I missed one, I was like, oh, I'm going to bed in an hour. It's 8 in the morning. Don't ask about the sleep schedule, by the way. But yeah, it's 8 in the morning. I'm going to bed soon. Come on. I just wanted to chill. Yeah, but it was great. It was great. It reminds me of, did you ever play Sonic Rush Adventure?
Sonic Rush Adventure. What was that on?
It was on Nintendo DS.
Oh, in fact, no, I played Rush. I didn't play Rush Adventure.
It's it works the same mechanically, but basically with Rush Adventure, in between levels, you have to do like a jet ski segment, and you have to like time it perfectly and beat your opponents. And if you failed it, then you'd have to do it again, so you don't go to the next level. It reminded me of that, and it was a little bit painful, but it was really fun.
Yeah, that's good.
Next, we have Cowgirl Peach. I'm not going to say it, but there's a meme, and every time this came up, I was like, if you know, you know. Like, literally every time, I couldn't stop saying it. Cowgirl Peach was genuinely fantastic. Like, really, really good. I adored playing as Cowgirl Peach, if I'm being honest. I thought it was a genuinely insanely good level.
Nice.
Forgive me. I think the best part of Cowgirl Peach's levels was for me, I actually think the theming here was probably the best. All the theming was fantastic throughout. The chat got the meme perfectly. If you didn't know the meme, there we go. It's in the chat. Yeah, thematically this was perfect. So you had segments where you had a lasso, as on screen now, where you'd like throw barrels around and rescue people. You'd have segments on horseback where you're chasing down a train that's captured the thing you're after, but then suddenly the train's after you and a horse and cart's behind it, and it's like you're the sheriff of the town, but the bad guys in a western are after you suddenly. And then next thing you know, you're platforming across rooftops. It's like very, very intense compared to some of the other ones, but it's like a perfect sort of western movie.
Yeah.
I also think it's taken inspiration from Mask of Zorro, if you've seen that.
Yeah, possibly. I think it's quite. You're probably going to get the strongest themes coming through on levels like the ninja and the cowgirl, just because the worlds are so expansive, probably. Whereas like you've got Ice Skater is very much a one-trick pony kind of. What do ice skaters do? Well, it's like ice dancing.
Yes,
okay. True. Or like ice racing. So. Yeah,
that's a good point. I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, it is very true. We're moving now into our top 4. So the Champions League spots, as they call them. Mighty Peach. Now, this is my controversial take, because I think the internet doesn't like Mighty Peach that much. But I'm quite a big Mega Man fan. And I quite enjoyed it, actually. It was a very sort of I don't know if I call it dystopian future, because it might even be like a little bit utopian, to be honest, because it's Mario, so it's not really that bad. But there's a war on between like an alien race and the civilians of the within the play, and he plays this sort of like Mega Man super role where you can punch through like buses, lift things up for people. You're flying through the air, taking on UFOs, and it becomes sort of like a rail shooter like Star Fox for a little segment of it. It's
that's cool.
It's really cool, actually.
Cool. Nintendo, it sounds a bit sort of no Star Fox, please.
Please give us Star Fox. What were you saying? Sorry.
Sounds very sort of like cyberpunk kind of themed.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. That's probably the terminology I'm missing. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, really good. I don't know why they're typically like. I've watched a little bit of internet discourse around the game because I obviously I enjoyed it a lot myself. I don't quite agree with Mighty Peach being so low, but obviously it is all personal preference.
From what I've seen, was she in the orange costume on the tier list earlier?
Yeah, it's like an orange-red sort of. It's armor-oriented. It looks really cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, so that looks really cool. And like by the sound of the levels, they sound really cool. So I don't know why people would fit, but I don't know. Maybe it's sort of a subversion people weren't expecting. Yeah,
probably, man. Probably. It's a shame because it was really good. Detective Peach is my next one.
Oh yeah.
So, Detective Peach was really, really fun. It's sort of mystery-based, and it's you've got to inspect things, and as you hold down to inspect, this little jingle that will play. I can't remember how the jingle goes, but it's like as you're like zooming in on it, the screen goes black, focuses around it, and she'll be like, "Ha!" and point at something specifically. And when she does that, you'll find out whether it's right or wrong. If you get it wrong, you lose a life. If you get it right, then obviously you progress with the story. It's really cool because some of the riddles, some of the puzzles actually got me thinking. You know, if you don't pay attention and listen to what everyone's saying, like one guy will be like, "Oh, I did this at 12 and I saw this person," which will lead you to someone else who said, "Oh no, but I was here," and you're following like all these clues around, like a Cluedo whodunito sort of scenario, because someone stole something from a museum at some point, and you're like, I have no idea what's going on, but I'm enjoying solving this.
You know, it sounds sort of like an interesting mix between like Professor Layton style kind of things with the puzzles and like Phoenix Wright.
Yes,
where you've got to, like, to make the make the accusations.
That's exactly it. Because at the end, you make the accusation, and if you're wrong, they will defend themselves, and it'll be drawn to your attention, and you follow another clue. That's probably what it's inspired by, because of her outfit as well. The Ace Attorney comparison's probably a really accurate one.
Yeah, I like it.
We're down to our last two, right?
Yeah.
One of them is Princess Peach in her regular outfit. One of them, and her regular gameplay. One of them is Ninja Peach. Which way round do you think it is?
I think you've got Ninja second and normal Peach first.
Bang on, ding ding ding. Yeah, that's how I have gone. I'm not just fangirling, but I am definitely just fangirling. But anyway, Ninja Peach was fantastic. Out of all the outfits, it was probably the best gameplay. I don't even know where to begin to start. I do not like stealth segments in video games. It's not something that I'm a big fan of. Yet this stealth-oriented ninja type like level, wow, it was done perfectly. It's how you do a stealth level. It's so good that I think other people who make stealth levels should really look at this. I feel that's quite a big compliment. Like, this feels amazing. So the way she'd go up against the wall, if you went up certain backgrounds, you'd pull up an object in front of you that made you blend in perfectly with the background, so you could go by spotlights. If you're trying to sneak by someone, you could like crawl behind them, go into the grass, and you sort of do like a Solid Snake type crawl and go through and hold up grass, like that. It's very on the nose though, because it's Super Mario. You'd hold up a blade of grass like above your head, just out of like it's Mario, so of course it's on the nose.
It works.
But then the ninja side of it, you're platforming, right? The platforming is the best in this level. You like wall run up walls, so on and so forth, and you jump off in between several. Then you'd run into the background and be doing the platforming in the background, like in Wonder, where you're actually on the wall, if that makes sense. Then you can jump back to the foreground as objects are coming towards you. And it's so cool. And basically, there's this segment where a huge tidal wave is crashing toward you. And it's destroying like the world around you. You have to jump on like falling pieces of buildings to like run up this water wave. I'm like, whoa! I can't even talk about it all within the space of 2 to 3 minutes because there's so much going on. It's so chaotic, but it's beautiful. It's so well made.
You know what? In a really good way, that sounds a lot like. Have you ever played Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex?
Yes. It's a good way of putting it.
You know the water boss, that level where you've got the tsunami coming at you, and you've got to run away from it whilst dodging the attacks and then attacking.
Yes.
That sounds like very similar, but it's in a really good way.
No, it is really similar. It's great, and it's probably just as intense. No problem, Chimkin. Thank you for coming down. I do really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your night. Hopefully you get some rest. Yeah, it sounds very, very similar. I adored it, actually. And to be honest with you, I think that it makes it so intense that when you are done, you're ready to play like a Patissieri or a Mermaid Peach level, because you're like, whoa, that was intense. It works so well. And her aesthetic, dude, I know I've tried not to mention it because it is a different ranking, but Ninja Peach slaps, dude. It is so cool, and cool is the adjective I'd use, I think.
Oh, I saw that green like scarf thing, or is it a scarf or like a sash she's got across the belt?
The sash.
It's like, it's perfect.
Yeah, it
works.
The epitome, I'd say, in terms of these designs. Spoilers, by the way.
And you've got like the kunai as well. She's got holding like the kunai in her hands.
It's so cool. It is so cool. And then at the top I put Princess Peach, who I don't need to talk about too much because we did that earlier. But again, the same attacks. The fact you can change her aesthetic and it changes how the attacks look. It's the one you use for the boss fights. And I also include the final segment. You know how in that narrative she gets sort of like the angelic powers. I include that within her regular gameplay. Maybe that's cheating a little bit, but I feel like it's where it would fall under.
Yeah.
And that was my personal ranking of how fun the levels were. That's the most sort of lengthy section. The only thing really left to discuss for myself is the aesthetic. Now, it would be a lot easier to do this if we can get it to work with the tier list. So I'm going to try one more time. And if it wants to be stubborn, then we will end the review here. And we'll do that in post and drop it in the Discord. If you're watching this in post-production as a YouTube video, the link to the Discord will be in the description, just in case this isn't in the video. So be sure to check it there if you are curious on what we think of the aesthetics of everything. Right, let's see if we can get this going. And if I go here, exit full screen. Can we see it? Are you?
I can see it fine. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're still able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Perfect. If the chat can still hear me, I don't understand why it's not working on this screen if the chat can't hear me. But if the chat can hear me, that's cool. I mean, regardless, I think they can still hear you. And they can still hear... Yeah, they can hear me? That's so strange. I've not changed anything from earlier. That is so strange, but we'll keep moving. Ignore everything past this outfit. This is the angelic outfit I was on about, by the way. Look at that design.
I thought so, yeah. That looks cool. It's like, it kind of looks a bit like Rosalina, not in a bad way, but looks like sort of like the Rosalina's blue colour.
Yes, it's got that sort of light blue tinge to it.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I like it.
Right, this one is purely opinion. There is no objectivity here, guys. The last part of this review is going to be subjectivity. We're going to be ranking our opinions on how we think the main transformations is the word I should use, on how the main transformations look. If you are after all of the dresses, I did spend longer than I'm willing to admit ranking every single one. Again, that'll be in the Discord if you are curious. Right. Dude, I'll let you go first. How we doing this? None are allowed in nope, by the way. If this happens, I will just move it to C. I'm glad we got through that. I'm not normally this assertive, but
again, like just the aesthetic wise, I've got to say the weakest. Just because it's not bad design at all either, but just mermaid.
Yeah,
I'm just not a lover of the mermaid, to be honest. But like, I'm betting it's quite fun. I'm betting the levels are still quite fun. But yeah, it comes across as like there's a few weaker elements in there.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. This is all your opinion, so I am curious on what you're going to do.
Okay, so I'd say if we start from the top now, I'll go Cowgirl.
What in S tier? Sorry.
Well, I was thinking I'll go through the characters from.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're doing.
You know what? I probably will give it a S tier. I love like the little horns on the hat and everything. It's very cool.
They didn't need to add the horns, did they? But I think it adds a lot.
Yeah, it fits very very thematically. So I would put it there. The next one's the Dashing Thief, isn't it?
Yep, this is great.
I love it. I would put it in A, just because I think there are stronger outfits, and like it could be a bit more. It could be a bit more thief. I know it's Dashing Thief, but it could be a bit more sort of rogue-esque for a thief.
I get what you're saying. It reminds me of. It gives me Persona 5 vibes. I don't know why.
I was about to say Joker. Yeah, it does very much remind me of Joker.
Again, it's that pop culture reference, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know what? It does look like a typical gentleman thief from like back in the day. But because times have moved on and we no longer really have gentleman thieves, it kind of looks a bit like a magician as well.
Yes.
So I'm like, it's very strong, but just because it's not as thematic as the others could be, I'll have to put it in A.
I completely get that, mate. I completely get that. It's interesting to see how the chat's bouncing off of what you say as well. It's cool. It's cool watching it happen. So where are we putting detective?
Okay. Detective. Oh, detective. You know what? I'm a sucker for like Shark Hands stuff. The magnifying glass. The fact is that a deerstalker she's got on as well. I think she has got a deerstalker on, hasn't she?
I'm not too sure what that
it's
is.
beautiful. Yeah, it's like a deerstalker hat. I love that.
Okay.
I'll put it lower than Cowgirl, but I still think S tier.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. I really like that design. From when I've seen it as well, it's just been. I'm surprised actually because I thought Dashing Thief would be high for me, but it's, I've kind of looked at them all now and been like, well, yeah.
I mean, we're playing with fairly strong designs here. It feels like a lot of effort went into them, so don't feel too bad.
Yeah. I would say for Ice Skater, you know what? It's very thematic, but I'd probably still say B. And that's not a bad thing. But all the designs are really strong, so I kind of have to say B.
When you're forced to put one in each category, I totally get it.
Yeah, it would be a shame not to have anything in B. Or if I was going to put nothing in B, I'd move Mermaid up to B and just scrap C. But it's I
mean, I am down to do that. Nah,
scrap.
You know what?
You know, it probably is. It probably is worth it.
Not needed.
Yeah, not needed. Yeah. So I probably would put it in a low A tier.
What, the Ice Skater?
Ice Skater, yeah. Because it does fit really thematically. It's like a light blue, it's colour of ice. It's very much like what you would expect an ice dancer to wear. So it fits. So yeah, I'll put it there. Now is this Kung Fu?
Yes, Kung Fu next.
Yeah. Again, I will put this probably. It seems really unfair, and I do really like it. I love that kind of vibe, and like the colours, even kind of like. So I'm gonna have to put it like high A, above the Dashing Thief.
Also, the eyeshadow. Like, I know you can't really see it in this tiny picture. If you guys haven't seen how good her eyeshadow is in Kung Fu, like.
Yeah.
I know it's something really weird and specific to point out, but she's got like this orange tinge eyeshadow that's just, it matches the earrings. Dude, I don't know much about makeup, but that's cool.
That's effort there.
Yeah, that's exactly the way to put it. I like it.
I like it. It's gonna have to go top of A. Like, I think it's very strong, but again, I think I'm just a sucker for a lot of the remaining 5. Like the next three, I'm just going to say the next 3, I'm going to struggle to rank because they're all just top. But I mean, look at the design of Mighty Peach when it's like they're going for that kind of theme of like cyberpunk. This is supposed to be like Mega Man, and it just fits so well. Like the goggles and everything, the actual armor of it. She looks like, Mighty Peach could be like a superhero, and it's like it would fit completely thematically without having to go into anything to do with Mega Man or anything like that. So it's going to have to be. It's on par with Cowgirl, that one. It's on par, if not a little bit better than Cowgirl.
We go on the left side of it, yeah?
Yeah, I've got it. I'm going to go for the next one. I'm just going to fill out S now. So the next one I'm going to do will go to the left of Mighty Peach. It's going to have to be swordsman, swords fighter.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I love that kind of design. Love like a Three Musketeers kind of vibe. You've got the cape, and it's very thematic around those like 17th century, 18th century kind of French nobleman fighters. You've got the feather in the cap and everything, the actual saber. It just reminds me of the Three Musketeers, but in a really good way. It still maintains like Peach's thing whilst being that. But that said, I think the ninja does it even better. Like, I mean, everything. You've got like the actual. What would you call the kind of trousers? It's not ball, ones.
I'm not too
But,
sure.
like,
They have got an official name, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, so just the shape of those, how they're shaped, the fact that she's got the kunai, the two kunai, and like the scarf, the green scarf. I love green anyway, but like the green scarf, and she's got like the green top knot band over she as well.
Yeah, it's so perfect.
It's amazing.
It's very well executed.
It's got to be top for me, that one. Then Patricia Peach. It's very thematic, and she kind of looks like a milkmaid.
Yeah, I see that.
Vibe. Also, like very kind of like 18th, 19th century, like Dutch kind of vibe.
I get that. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it, but yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, but I'd still say just because it's, I don't know, it kind of gets lumped in with Ice Dancer just because it's like it's a theme and it is very thematic, but the theme is not. It's very difficult to go through like 10, 11 themes for a game. So there's bound to be a few that are just weaker than others, not by its own fault, but just because it's like there's not much sort of, I don't want to say lore or history around it, but like if you say like, are you interested in like Paticiers? Yeah, kind of. Are you interested in ninjas? Yeah.
There's a wider audience for it because there's more.
Definitely.
There's more background there, maybe.
Yeah. And then last one. What did you say this one was called? Sorry, mate. Is it Angelic Peach? That we calling that?
Sure, because I can't remember the official name for it. So roll with that.
I would go for probably just I'll put her at bottom of S. And I like it. It's really good. It reminds me a lot of Zelda, which I think fits with her theme as well. You've got like the blue crown as well. That's cool. I like that. Very almost like wedding dress kind of thing. It's got like quite a wide train kind of thing going on.
Yes, this is true. Hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, but like, I like the theme, but it's like I kind of get Rosalina vibes from it.
Yes.
I do get Rosalina vibes from it, so it's sort of like it's great, but it's kind of already not already been done, but kind of been done in another way already.
Yeah, I completely get it. Chat's told me it's called the Sparkle Dress.
Sparkle Dress, okay. Yeah, I put at the bottom of S, which is not bad at all, but it's just so many other things that are strong in it. It's just you gotta have your favourites.
Yeah, no, 100%, man, 100%. We'll do her regular outfit as well at the end here, because then we've done every single class that you can play.
Yeah.
If you need to see it more clearly, I can move it there, and then obviously it differentiates from the others around it.
I mean, it's got to be really. I really like the top three I've picked are probably some of my favourite designs of like Nintendo characters for quite a while. So I'm going to put her just behind those top three, just because it's iconic.
Yes, that's the exact word I'd use.
Wouldn't change anything about it. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's just that those three designs particularly stand out to me. But she is iconic in a normal dress.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect way to put it. And are you happy with this after seeing it, dude?
You know what, I think so, yeah. I like how nothing's in C or D. It's just still SAB.
I think that's completely fair. Chat has a couple things that they think, and I'll run them through just before we end here. Ice Skater Peach for Carathon in chat is their favourite as S tier.
Okay.
We have the Sparkle Dress is beautiful. That deserves to be S tier. We have got it in S tier, chat. We have got it there. And it's pointed out that she kind of gives off like goddess vibes. I was like, yeah, I sort of see that.
Absolutely. Yeah, which is why there's the kind of comparison with Zelda, because she is the embodiment of Hylia.
Yes.
So that's the goddess theme reflected in her. Then this is reflected in like the goddess theme for Peach.
Completely.
But yeah, she's in S, but it's just there's so many good things in it. I couldn't. I had to put it in S, but I couldn't put it any higher than I have.
I think that's completely fair. And we'll see how this matches up. So if you guys are curious on comparing this to my own has been placed in the Discord along with all the other dresses as well. I'll post it in there next to it, and you guys can sort of see where the opinions stack up. I'll give a slight spoiler. S tier looks somewhat similar. The link will be in the description of the YouTube video, guys. And for everyone watching live, be sure to get yourself in the Discord if you are not already. Yeah, dude, that was awesome. Let me go here. Thank you for joining me. I thought that was a really good one, actually. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was really nice to learn. The one thing I would say about the game, from what you've told me in the past, how long we've been going, I think it would be a great game for people who are looking to get into gaming.
That's a very good way of putting it.
You've got so many like different things by the sense of it. Even with like the Mermaid, you've got like water levels, which not many people like water levels. But then you've got the rhythm-based game. You've got the patissiere, you've got like Cooking Mama and stuff that you can go on after that. For Ice Dancer, it sounds very much like rhythm games as well, where you like kind of like oh god, what's that rhythm game called? The one on PC. I can never remember what it's called.
I'm not too sure.
Kind of music based where you drag the cursor around.
Okay.
Sounds a lot like that. Dashing Thief. I wouldn't really know what you'd compare Dashing Thief with.
It's kind of unique, isn't it, in its own way?
Yeah. It's kind of unique with the kung fu, the sword fighter. I'm guessing with the with Mighty Peach as well. You've got like action games, superhero games, sword fighting games. Whether that be sort of like a more kid orientated one, all the way up to like Mortal Kombat, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's good.
Detective, you got Professor Layton and Ace Attorney.
Yes.
Cowgirl, I'd say, is more sort of like adventurer. Like I mean, you've got like Cowgirl games, I suppose.
It gives you sort of like Uncharted vibes as well.
But yeah, definitely. Like a nice mix of combat with like adventuring as well. And then of course you've got the ninja, which is, it sounds like like a toned down version, but like Metal Gear.
Yeah, it's actually quite similar.
Like that. Yeah. That mixed with some combat as well.
Yeah, it's damn cool. It is damn cool. And I hope that if you guys haven't played it or are planning on it, that this has been enough to convince you. Or if you did, nah, it was going to be too child friendly or not enough there. Hopefully it's convinced you otherwise. Or if you have played it and it just reaffirms some things or offers some new opinions, I hope you guys did enjoy watching and discussing with us. Is there anything else you'd like to add, dude?
No, I think that's it for me, mate. That's really fun, as you said.
Yeah,
nice to learn a little bit about it. Yeah, anytime.
We did really appreciate it, and thank you to you guys, whether it be live, whether it's in post. Massive thank you. We appreciate the support as always. I'm not too sure what game's next. We were thinking about maybe doing something Sonic oriented. We had a brief discussion about that.
Yeah.
So we're thinking maybe Sonic. Thank you, chat. We do appreciate it. We're glad you enjoyed the stream. It's nice to be back on it a little bit. I know we had like a 4-week break, but it'll be sooner than that, the next one. Not going to give an exact date yet because we roll with it, but it'll be sooner than 4 weeks, that's for sure. And yeah, until the next time, guys. Take care of yourselves. Ooh. Thank you again, Jack.
Konbanwa gamers. That's all right. Anytime.
And that is everything from us. Konbanwa gamers. Good evening, gamers. Take care of yourselves, everyone. See you later.
Bye, guys. See ya.
Goodbye. Bye-bye. See you later.